This is Valley News Live at noon.
We start with information that's new at noon. After months of negotiations with the 5 tribal nations in North Dakota, Governor Doug Burgum has submitted final drafts of new tribal state gaming compacts for review. A group of 17 legislators and legal staff now have 21 days to review the compacts. Changes include allowing online and mobile gaming and online sports betting within the physical boundaries of the reservations. An addendum proposed by the tribes to offer those types of gaming outside the reservations was not included in the final draft. Other changes include lowering the legal age for gambling on reservations from 21 to 19 years old and allowing tribes to accept credit and debit cards for any purpose. Well, it looks beautiful outside, so let's check in with meteorologist Summer Schnellbach.
Hey everyone, and good afternoon. It is windy. We saw those flags flying on the Dakota Magic Casino Skycam, but that's kept our temperatures warm. Here's a look at our morning low temperatures in the 40s and 50s. That's a good 10 degrees above our seasonally average daytime highs. So we are off to a very warm start. The winds right now are quite strong, gusting to 39 miles per hour in Grand Forks, gusting to 38 miles per hour in Howlock, 39 mile per hour gust in Oaks. Here in Fargo, a recent gust to 33 miles per hour, and in Brainerd, gusting to 37 miles per hour. But temperatures are warm, just as expected for your lunchtime hour. We have warmed into the 60s. 63 in Fargo and Bemidji, 64 in Grand Forks, Detroit Lake, 63 Bemidji, 60 in Jamestown and in Devil's Lake. For this afternoon, you can just see that camera shake and get a little motion sick just watching it. Temperatures will continue to warm into those low 70s, but Jillian, that wind not going anywhere for at least a couple of hours.
Yeah,
I'll track how long this wind sticks around, and a big cool down coming for tomorrow.
All right, thank you, Summer. Near record drought conditions are taking a toll on much of Minnesota. The National Weather Service says last month was the 6th driest October in Minnesota recorded history. Here's a look at the latest drought conditions across the state, with much of the state experiencing at least moderate drought. The Red River Valley, especially up north, actually looks to be in the best shape compared to the Twin Cities and the southwest Minnesota. Alan Henry talked to climatologists about when we might see relief.
This is 5 months of precip that's missing, that we didn't get.
2022 has been an abnormally dry year for most of Minnesota, with enough precipitation missing to fill a kiddie pool.
Normally we're at around 28, 29 inches of rainfall for the Twin Cities, and we're at just a little over 18.
There's not much water in the soil at all right now. The top 2 feet is basically no water left in it.
The severity of the drought depends on where you are in Minnesota, but in certain bodies of water, it's easy to see the impact the drought is having.
Lake Minnetonka is the lowest it's been in 30 years. I'm starting to see wetlands begin to dry up. People are having trouble with their boats.
The cause of the drought? Any storms that have come through Minnesota are swerving before they hit the Twin Cities.
They're either passing off to our north or passing off to our southeast. We just happen to be in the zone basically from the Twin Cities on the southwest part of the state where the drought's the worst, and we just haven't been able to get any moisture here.
Experts say any drought relief probably won't be seen for a long time, but there are short-term concerns.
With such dry fuels around the state, it only takes a little spark and you could have a fire quickly grow and possibly become out of control.
We'll take any moisture we can get at this point, but really we'll still be in this drought come spring unless something really major happens over the winter.
Alan Henry.
The Minnesota DNR says the majority of the state is at a high risk for fire danger, and that risk may go up today because of higher than normal temperatures and winds. Well, fire crews in Polk County say dry conditions likely contributed to 2 fires yesterday. Crews responded to the fires less than an hour apart. The first call came in a few miles northwest of East Grand Forks. A detached shed and 3 vehicles were destroyed. The second call was about 12 miles south of the first call, and 2 outbuildings were destroyed. Sheriff officials believe this fire was caused by a smoldering brush pile that rekindled and quickly spread. Voters in Moorhead will decide next week on a half-cent sales tax proposal to help fund a new regional library and community center. And tomorrow you can learn more before you cast your ballot. The sessions are being hosted by the Moorhead Public Library at noon, 5:30, and 6:30. A citizen-led task force was formed last year to work with the community to decide on features and amenities. Tonight is the first opportunity for people in the Pingree-Buchanan School District to learn more about a proposed $4.5 million bond referendum. The district is looking for funds for additions, renovations, and security upgrades at the elementary school in Buchanan. A community meeting is being held at 7 p.m. at the elementary school so people can get information on the scope of the project, discuss tax impacts, raise concerns, and get questions answered. The second meeting is next Wednesday, November 9th at the high school. The special election is on Monday, November 21st. For more details about the project, go to valleynews.com. The Red Cross is issuing a call for action for quilters. They're collecting quilts and blankets for veterans this holiday season. Quilts and fleece blankets must be new or made with new materials, can be handmade or purchased, and should be sturdy enough to undergo industrial washing and sterilizing. The Red Cross prefers them 60 by 80 inches with neutral, masculine, or patriotic themes. Donations can be dropped off at any Gate City Bank location through Thanksgiving. And now that Halloween is over and jack-o'-lanterns are shriveling up, pumpkin recycling is underway at 4 sites in Clay County. Through November 14th, you can drop them off at the Moorhead Public Workshop on 15th Avenue North, recycling locations at Woodlawn Point on Elm Street and the soccer field at 23rd Street and 40th Avenue South, and at the Oakport compost site. Pumpkins collected at these locations will be recycled by composting them at a local farmstead instead of being tossed in the landfill. Coming up at noon, how the rising cost of borrowing is hurting the housing market and what the ripple effect could be to the rest of the economy. But next, weather to plan your day.